So it's been a week or two since we have talked about what is going on with Xbox because, well, there really hasn't been many big developments happening until very recently. Of course, Sarah Bond did an interview with Bloomberg that was, I mean, it was just absolutely horrible. You could tell, like, she was uncomfortable with some of the questions that were being asked due to the timing of this interview kind of coinciding with news about Xbox. But I just feel it's so strange that she's the one that's thrown out to the wolves. Like, I get it, she's the president of Xbox or whatever. But where's Matt Booty? Where's Phil Spencer? You know, Slick Philly, the guy who helped create this situation that Xbox is in right now. Like, it seems a little bit cowardly that Phil Spencer hasn't said a single thing on the internet about what is happening with Xbox when he's usually the one that's out there talking about it and promoting it and saying how great everything is. When in actuality, we learn that, well, Xbox lied about a lot of things. But the new situation that's going on is kind of more in line with the future of Xbox. And a lot of people seem a little bit confused by this, so I just decided to talk about it today because I need something to talk about before the Knicks game at 3:30 because I might have a mental breakdown if they lose. But what's happening with Xbox right now? Well, the whole big situation that's happening involves, of course, one of their studio acquisitions, Activision Blizzard. Now, Activision Blizzard, if you look at the financials of Xbox right now, they're the one part of Xbox that is actually making money because obviously they have a lot of behemoth franchises tied into them. Even though everyone was, not Twitter said Activision Blizzard bad, nobody buy their games, and that didn't work because Twitter's not a real place and people need to understand that because sometimes it comes and bites them in the ass. But obviously Activision Blizzard has been doing very well, Diablo's doing well, and of course their real behemoth, Call of Duty. And that's what this is kind of contingent on right now because there's been lots of talk about the future of Call of Duty on the Xbox. And it appears that now Call of Duty will be coming to Xbox Game Pass on day one. And I'm sitting here looking at this situation like, why are we talking about this? Like, why is this news? Why was there confusion leading up to Call of Duty coming onto Xbox Game Pass? Because as far as I've been told, and as far as everyone has been told, every single first-party Xbox game will be going into Xbox Game Pass. I didn't make that rule. You didn't make that rule, unless you're Phil Spencer. None of us implored that rule to be put onto Xbox, where every single first-party Xbox studio game gets put into Xbox Game Pass on day one. That is an Xbox policy, and that's not necessarily something you can walk back immediately just because you finally got your big cash cow game, because Call of Duty sells. Once again, we could talk about Twitter outrage, this, that, or the other. I thought the campaign in Modern Warfare 3 was one of the worst campaigns I've ever played. Everyone always hypes up, Call of Duty campaigns. Oh, you got to play the campaign. You can't just play the multiplayer. You got to play the campaign. So I finally played the campaign. It's like 3 hours long. The story was written by a toddler. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? This stinks. This is terrible. But the game still sells. It's the best selling or one of the best selling games every single year. So Microsoft obviously saw that and they were like, well, this is good for us. We need a game like this. We need a game to help potentially tip the scales, without really thinking about all the stuff that they've said about Xbox Game Pass and how first-party games work on it. I feel absolutely no sympathy for Xbox in this situation because, like I just said, it's a self-imposed thing. It's like stabbing yourself in the arm and being like, well, why is my arm bleeding? Xbox is the company, if I need to remind you, that they said the games that they were showing were coming out within the next 12 months. The 3 games they showed were Starfield, Forza 8, and Redfall. 2 of those games did not come out in that 12-month period. They needed more time. The one game that did come out, which was Redfall, was obviously the sacrificial lamb. This game was not ready. But they looked at the situation and they were like, well, we have Starfield. You know, this is a Bethesda game. They've been working on it for a long time. We can't sacrifice that game, even though to some degree you honestly did. Well, Forza, once again, you know, this is one of our big staple games. It always reviews really high. We can't rush that out there. You know, we gotta let it cook a little bit. Well, what about Redfall? Arcane Austin. You know, we'll take care of Arcane Austin. Don't worry about it, boys and girls. You know, we just need a game to come out within that 12-month window. And that was the game that they sent out to be slaughtered by reviewers, slaughtered by gamers. And then what did they do? They shut down Arcane Austin. But with the introduction of Call of Duty coming into Game Pass, now we're starting to hear about, oh, we got to do a price increase. We got to do a price increase because this game's expensive and people will want to buy it. And if they're not buying it, we got to raise the price of Game Pass. What the hell is wrong with you? No one is interested in buying the Xbox right now. No one's really interested in doing it. I mean, as far as an informed consumer is, you know, little shithead Johnny, he doesn't know any better. You know, he just wants to play games where maybe his friends play, maybe his friends have an Xbox or something like that. He's not an informed customer. An informed customer, an informed consumer knows that Xbox has been lying, and they lie, and they lie, and they lie. And now they want to raise the price potentially of Game Pass because of the potential lost revenue with Call of Duty. Who is going to trust this company with something like that? Why is there any trust for Xbox whatsoever? I go back to that Sarah Bond interview where she essentially was the sacrificial lamb. She was the Redfall in this situation, while the Starfield, Phil Spencer, and Forza, Matt Booty, just hid in the shadows. They're like, oh, not us. Not us. Can't be us. We're the cool guys. You know, Sarah, you're newer here. You know, well, you're technically the Xbox president now. We gotta push you out there. So the plan is to put Call of Duty into Game Pass and then increase the price of Game Pass or make another tier or something like that. And it's like, is that really going to help? Is that really going to shift the sands of time? Is that going to lead you to the promised land where people are buying an Xbox to play Call of Duty so that they don't have to buy the game? Like, I feel like it needs to be a sum of all of its parts. And the problem is Call of Duty is still going to be available on PC. Call of Duty is still going to be available on PlayStation 5. Call of Duty is allegedly coming to Nintendo platforms as well. So what's the incentive? You have to have other things tied into Game Pass to make it, you know, to the point of where somebody wants to buy an Xbox to play Call of Duty on it, but they also get all of this other stuff. But we go back to the whole subscription services thing, where subscription services for video games and really all entertainment, you know, as far as like movies are concerned, it's flatlined. It's flatlined. The data is out there where people are just tired of things like this. It's like, in theory, this is cool, but I can also just buy the one game that I really want to play and just be done with it and not have to worry about these subscription services, or buy the one movie that I want to watch, because you end up having to get all of these different subscription services. Kind of like what they're doing now. Oh, you can get the EA subscription service, you can get the Ubisoft subscription service, you can get this, that, or the other. It's like, bro, this is just too much. I just think Xbox looked at a situation and thought, you know, it's almost like they wanted to be the victim. You know, with Phil Spencer saying things in years past like, oh, you know, well, good games aren't going to sell our consoles or anything like that. We need to do something different. Like, you just want to be a victim there. You just want to kind of be the underdog. And like, to some extent, that's okay, but it's obviously not true. People buy video games that they like. And Game Pass, you know, it could have been something really cool if you managed to keep that price down. And yes, you did some first-party games. And yes, you got some third-party games. Like, oh, okay, that might have been a little bit more sustainable. But putting all of your eggs into that one basket and hoping that Game Pass would just absolutely take off, it's not really working. But it seems like you're doubling down on Game Pass by adding in Call of Duty to it, because you have to add Call of Duty into it, because this is the situation that you created. But now your idea is, oh, we'll just raise the price. Yeah, I am sure, I am 100% sure that people are going to see that price increase and be like, oh, holy shit, I need to get Game Pass now. Look, it even went up in price. This is what was holding me back. It was just too cheap. I needed to pay more for this. And really, at the end of the day, you can't trust Xbox. You can't. You can't. I'm sorry. All trust is gone until further notice with this company. The fact that Phil Spencer is such a little bitch that he has not said a single thing about anything. You said all this stuff to talk about the future and this, that, or the other. You're always active. You're always doing interviews. You're always doing PR stuff, but you didn't say a damn thing about this. That's cowardice, man. You were the one who helped create this situation. And then you're just like, Sarah, handle it for me, please. I can't handle the people. So Call of Duty's allegedly coming into Game Pass, which shouldn't be a surprise because this is a self-imposed Xbox thing that they created. And then they're probably going to raise the price of it as well. Is it really going to be worth it? Like, how are you going to... Here's the thing. Are you going to add in a new tier? And if so, are only select... Like, is Indiana Jones only going to be in the higher tier now? Like, you've created more problems. You did not solve any problems with Game Pass. You potentially could have, but you got too invested in it. You're like, oh, you need to make this attractive. Every Xbox game is in there on day one. Yeah, that'll turn the tides. And then it didn't. And then you kept going with it. You were like, well, this isn't working, but we got to keep trying because, making good games, that's not going to help the company. Idiots. Absolute idiots. And I still love my Xbox. I'll still play all the upcoming Xbox games. My Hellblade 2s, my Avowed, my Indiana Jones is still one of my most anticipated games of 2024. I really don't think it's going to come out this year, but it might. And I'll still check it out. But it's just I feel no sympathy over this. You created this monster and now you don't know what to do with it. You got to take it on the chin, pal. And Phil Spencer, get your ass out there in front of some PR. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think of all this. Is Call of Duty, is that enough to make you buy an Xbox to play it on Game Pass? Or will you just buy it on the system or platform that you already have and just go about your day? Let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and share. Hit the bell as well. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.